they dance around Revelation 13, 16, and 17. The dragon, giving all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem Kakwadash. So, pretty much this is two separate topics. The dragon being the second part of the topic, and the first part of the topic is Revelation. They dance around Revelation 13, verses 16 and 17, / the dragon. Anyway, this is a video that was put up a couple of days ago on IUIC events entitled #IUIC. His number is 666 #Uganda Radio Show. And the brother on the left, I believe he's from the tribe of Levi. I could be wrong, but he's a very good teacher, and he comes off as very sincere. The brother with the long dreads, or the braids, I've probably seen him before, but I've seen the other brother. I forget his name. I knew his name, but I forget his name. But anyway, it's come off as a very sincere brother. But you can be sincerely right, and you can be sincerely wrong. Anyway, he goes into this video. This video is 56 minutes long. So I said, let me watch the video. Since I came across the title, his number is 666. Thinking that they would at least, well, they would either do the whole Revelation chapter 13, or they would hit certain points, which they wound up doing. And so I believe he started off with the 18th verse of Revelation 13. Then he kind of jumped around, and he wound up in like Revelation. Well, here at the 25-minute, 27-second minute mark, you see on the screen, you see Revelation 13, verse 6. So he was going from Revelation 13 to various different verses, jumping around. And, you know, he was going good. He was pretty much explaining it correctly. But I kept jumping maybe a minute in, then maybe another 2 minutes in. And, you know, when you kind of scroll, you'll see anytime a precept pops up in the yellow, you would see the verse. And I watched up until about the 50-minute mark, and they didn't once even come close to, well, they came close to it, but they didn't tackle it. At all. But they could have hit it, you know, the last minute. They could have hit it, which I doubt. But they can say, look, Tahar, you're wrong. We did tackle it. But like I said, I scanned throughout the whole video, and I didn't see them even touch the 16th, mainly the 16th verse. I mean the 15th, 16th, or 17th verse. And there was another video that I believe Nathaniel, Bishop Nate Nathaniel, as his title is, he did a similar video. I forget the name of the video. This had to be maybe a year ago. And he was going into the image of the beast, which, by the way, is not a picture of Caesar Borgia. And I'm going to show you that when I do a word search on the word dragon in the book, in the various chapters of Revelation. And you're going to clearly see that the image of the beast has nothing to do with a picture of Caesar Borgia. Unless, of course, Caesar Borgia was wounded in the head and came back to life. Caesar Borgia was not wounded to death and came back to life. He was wounded in a battle. I can't give you the particulars of the battle, but if you do the research, he was wounded in a battle trying to breach a wall, and I believe he got shot with an arrow and he died, and he never came back to life. So that's not Caesar Borgia. And I said that in other videos. And then when I would do a video on that particular subject, Nate would come back and do a counter to my video. Not putting the same name or title that I put up, but he would go into the image. The image, you keep pushing that bullshit that the image is a picture of Caesar Borgia. But when I go into the word search of the word dragon, you're going to see that it's not. Anyway, I can tell you the reason why they don't touch Revelation chapter 13 verses 15, 16, and 17. I started off with 16 and 17, but it's actually 15, 16, and 17. Is because the controversy of the mark of the beast. At one time, they would tackle the 16th verse, but then they wouldn't deal with the 17th verse. Why is that? Because it's overwhelming that Revelation chapter 13, verse 15, 16, and 17, mainly 16 and 17, is talking about a physical charagma. And the word for charagma, if you went to the Greek, if you go to the Hebrew, the word for mark is also in the book of Acts, and the word there is graven. The only way you can engrave something is by taking a piece of gold, a piece of silver, a stone for a tombstone, and you engrave a name, a saying, a quote in that gold, silver, or stone, or even wood, So you need an engraving tool. Anyway, I would like you to watch this video. It's on, like I said, IUIC events. And this video was put up September 1st, so a couple of days ago. So now let me go into, I put in this word search right here for dragon. Okay, I'm just going to the book of Revelation. If you go to Revelation, the book of Revelation, the word dragon is written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 times. 12, 13 times. So let's just go right into it. Revelation 12 verse 3 is the first time the word dragon is written in the book of Revelation. It said, and there appeared another one in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. Now, if you understand the prophecies of the scriptures, you would know the timetable of when Revelation 12 verse 3 took place. It's not talking about the Antichrist. It's not talking about the modern beast. It's talking about, excuse me, the time period in which our Lord's mother was ready to give birth to the Messiah. So the dragon, part of the dragon is the ancient pagan Roman Empire. And also an extension of the dragon is the Herodian dynasty, because it was Herod that put out the order to kill the baby. So he put out the order. I believe that's Matthew 2, if I'm not mistaken. Put it in. I'm not going to go to it. I believe it's Matthew, the 2nd chapter. I may just read it, but anyway, he put out the order to kill all the babies. And when it said babies, the word in there should be sons, because they wasn't killing. It doesn't say they were just killing sons, but we know the Messiah is going to come in the form of a man. So they were killing boy babies of the age from 2 years old and under among the Israelites, because they knew who they know who the Israelites are. They knew who the Israelites were back then, and guess what? They know who the Israelites are today. So it was Herod, which is part of the dragon, part of that system. He was an Edomite, along with other Edomites. So the next verse is Revelation 12, verse 4. And his tail, we know it's not a literal tail, drew the third part of the stars of heaven. The third part of the stars of heaven represent a third of Israel, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. And did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman. Now the woman represents Israel. It's not talking about Mary, it's talking about Israel. But the particular child, which is our Lord, he was born from Israel. He was an Israelite on a macro sense. On the micro sense, he was born to Mary, the daughter of Heli, the wife of Yahushua, Joseph, the woman which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. 7, we're jumping down to the 7th verse. Oh, you know what I got to do? Let me go to the actual word dragon and see what it means.
Strong's G 1404. Drakon. Drakon.
Drakon, which obviously is the Greek way of saying dragon. It says, a dragon, a great serpent, a name for Satan. Precept that comes to mind is Revelation 20, verse 1. Drakon, probably from an alternate form of Drakomai, to look. You know, if a security guard looks keenly, the cameras that are set up in a city would be Drakomai, which means to look keenly. So in a way, you can say cameras in the city or in the store are digital mechanic dragons, because what a dragon does, it knows what's going on. The heart of every one of them is deep. A fabulous kind of serpent, perhaps as supposed to fascinate a dragon. See if there's any more. And you know, of course, a Christian would say, "Oh, that's the Antichrist." That's their go-to answer. "Oh, that's the Antichrist." And we finding out that Christian, and there's a lot of Christians that's following us and up in their biblical game by following us, mainly GMS. So now let me come back. Okay, we read Revelation 12, verse 4. Now we're going to jump down to Revelation 12, verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So in the third verse of Revelation 12, it speaks about the dragon being the ancient pagan Roman Empire. In the seventh verse, it speaks about the new dragon, the beast. Because this war in heaven will take place, is yet to take place. So we know that Michael is not fighting against the ancient pagan Roman Empire. So the word dragon is interchangeable with the ancient dragon, which is the Roman Empire, and the modern dragon, which is NATO, EU, which consists of America and Canada. We're jumping to the ninth verse. Revelation 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which are so-called white people. Now, the average Joe Edomite that walks on the street, he's not the dragon. He's not. If he joins the military, he becomes a part of the dragon. The leaders of the EU and NATO are leaders of the dragon. It says, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which was deceived the whole world. He was and part of his deception is becoming charagma. Because what is he doing now with the jab? He's deceiving people. He's telling you that it works, it helps you. We'll give you you can get free hamburgers down the block, or you can go to Krispy Kreme, or you can watch the Knicks. So that's a form of deception. Oh, we'll give you $100 or $100. So you got people that'll take it. But the longer this man takes to do what he got to do, the more people are going to wake up to it. So is he going to get everybody? No, he's not going to jab everybody. He's not going to chip everybody. But he's going to get the majority of people on the planet. His job is to get the majority of the people on the planet, mainly in smart cities that deal with the web and the app that they put on your phone. But eventually, it's going to actually go into you. They're going to turn you into a smartphone with the 5G and so forth. It said, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. I'm going to look up the word deceived or deceiveth. Here we go. Now this they want. Okay, here we go.
Strong's G 4105 planao, planao,
which means to cause astray, to lead astray, lead aside from the right way. So when they introduce this thing to you, you're supposed to not take it. If you do take it, they led you in the wrong direction, to go astray, wander, roam about, to lead away from the truth. And we've been teaching the truth concerning Revelation 13 verses 16. To lead into error, to deceive, to be led into error, to be... And Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushua is going to deal with these Israelites that's leading the people in error. They're going to flee from you like they're fleeing from Esau. Scripture said, cursed be the man that trusteth in man. So now we're in Revelation 12 verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. That's going back to the ancient pagan Roman Empire. Revelation 12 verse 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Flood represents armies. In this case, this is referring to the time of Vespasian and Titus. Because it said that they fled. Let's get that. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, it says 14 verse, Revelation 12 verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, which literally did not happen, that she might fly into the wilderness. The wilderness represents leaving the lands of Israel and going into the interiors of Africa. When you go into the history, some of them went into the north, which is Asia Minor, because you had Israelites living up in there. You had communities up there. You had communities in Africa. You had a community in Egypt. It says into their place is talking about, the place is talking about America and around the world, but mainly America, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a times from the face of the serpent. Deuteronomy 28 verse 47 on down, we will be in the want of all things. So we are nourished by this devil. So now let's come back to the 16th verse. Uh, 17th verse. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of a seed which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Now that happened during the time of the pagan Roman Empire, because a lot of the apostles were put to death. Peter was hung upside down. The apostle Paul head was chopped off. The first apostle that was put to death was James, the brother of John. And they're looking to put us to death again. Revelation 20 verse 4. It says, in the beast, this is Revelation 13 verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon, which is the Roman system, the pagan Roman system, gave when the EU came together, it was called the was it the ECC, I think, or the EEC, European Economic Community. EEC, I'm sorry, yeah, EEC, European Economic Community. Then the name changed a couple of times, and it eventually became the EU, which is the European Union. Now, the European Union came together under a meeting called the Treaty of Rome. So you had all these different European nations coming together. All you got to do is look it up. Go to Google and put the Treaty of Rome. So that show you that this is Rome all because Rome had to come back together, or the beast had to come back together, and that took place. The EU, if I'm not mistaken, I got to go do I haven't gone through this in a while, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was 57, 58. And NATO came together in, I believe that was 49, 50. 1949, 1950. I could be wrong. I hadn't gone through this in a while, in a long while. It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And this has nothing to do with the spiritual dragon, the spiritual demon, but behind the scenes, the spiritual demon, Satan, was involved in this. And they were, Revelation 13 verse 4, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. We're in the current beast. Worshiping the dragon is worshiping the Roman pagan system. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with the beast? So there was a time where this union of European nations was so strong, and they brought this to they brought this together for, if you go to an old dictionary, to come to deal with the Soviet power. Revelation 13 verse 11, and I heard another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That's talking about America, the American system, which works with the EU and NATO. Ultimately, the EU and the NATO nations are going to shoot missiles on Babylon the Great, or the lamb that spake as a dragon. Revelation 16, and I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Now the false prophet represents Christianity as a whole, which has nothing to do with the mark. Revelation 20 verse 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now give me a second. I want to look up the word image. Okay, let me just go to it. Okay, Revelation 13 verse 14 and I guess 15, it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means, and they cause people to sell out, like Johanna. Johanna sold out when he made that statement back in around December 2020. He said, go ahead and take it. He said, I know the white man's to take the devil, but take it anyway. Well, that doesn't make no sense. That's oxymoronic to say that this man is a devil, but go ahead and take what he's got to give you. Give me 1 second. Okay. Revelation 13 verse 14, and deceiveth them that, how are they getting you to get this jab? By deceiving you that dwell on the earth, by giving people bags on the earth by the means of those miracles, their technology, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, which is this system, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So where in history did Caesar Borgia was wounded in the head and came back and miraculously came back to life? The beast that got wounded and did live is talking about the Roman system, the ancient pagan Roman system coming back again. It's not being called, this system is not being called Rome or the Roman Empire, but the EU, as I said earlier in the video, I don't know, 2 minutes ago, that they had a meeting called the Treaty of Rome. The Treaty of Rome. You know what I'm going to do? Kind of wanted y'all to do it, but I'm going to go to it anyway, get a little information. So any Israelite says, oh, we might be here for another 40, 50 years, that get away from that person. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Let me see. Okay, the Treaty of Rome. The Treaty of Rome, or EEC, which I said in the video, early in the video. EEC stands for, is an acronym for European Economic Community, which was later changed to the EU, European Union. It says Treaty of Rome, the Treaty of Rome, or the EEC Treaty brought about the creation of the European Economic Community. The best known of the European communities, the treaty was signed on March 25th, 1957. I believe they got the chart in 58. By Belgium, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, West Germany, and it came into force on January 1st, 1958, like I said. Now, you want to read more into it? The first, 6 members are European members, okay? Let me do this. the EU. Let's see what happens. Let me see. I wanted to get a list of the nations, but they're all European nations. There's no Chinese nations. There's no Japanese nations. There's no African nations, no Arab nations that are part of it. Every nation that's a part of the EU and NATO are European nations. I'm just trying to find a list. I would have to do a little digging. Anyway, I'm not going to go crazy looking for it. Okay, we're back in Revelation 13. So, Revelation 13, verse 14, we know that it's not talking about Caesar Borgia, because Caesar Borgia was not put to death and came back to life. It was the Roman Empire that was put to death, wounded, and came back to life. And the birth of that, you can go back as far back as Christopher Columbus out of Spain, coming to the Americas. But actually, the coming together that created this beast is key years 1957, 1949. NATO coming together in 1957. That's the coming together of the of the beast. And there's not no damn guy named the Antichrist. Okay, let me go back. Okay, I think this is it. Okay. And ultimately, I don't got to read the rest of these scriptures. I mean, there's like 4 more precepts. Revelation, I believe I read them. Revelation 20, verse 2, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. That's talking about during the time period of the so-called Byzantine Empire. Anyway, with that, I don't have to go into the mark. We know that, or we should know that. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.